I wanted them to live, but they caught on fire and blew up.
What are you gonna do?
Not much I can do there.
It's a design flaw in the ships, you know?
Made it so flammable. Why did they so
Why?
flammable? You Gotta Check This Out was our last best hope for podcasting. A self-produced endeavor located in neutral internet territory. A place for free discussion about nerdy passions with Mike, Dre, and all their guests. A shining beacon in cyberspace, recorded bi-weekly via Zoom. It was the dawn of the second season, the year Babylon 5 haters, lovers, and newcomers come together. Listen in as we discuss key episodes from Babylon 5 Season 2. The year is 2025, and you gotta check this out.
Welcome to another episode of You Gotta Check This Out with Mike and Dre. We are coming to the end of Season 2 of Babylon 5. And in keeping with the name of the show, we are going to have a guest on who I believe, spoiler, hasn't seen the show, at least like Mike and I have, which is what we're going for. Recap of the series, if this is your first episode, this is You Gotta Check This Out. We go over a nerdy subject that is dear to Mike or my hearts, some cases both. In this case, that is the case, Babylon 5. Premise is, we don't want you to watch it all. This is 5 seasons. This is 5 seasons of 1990s television. That's so many hours. So we are picking out key episodes that we think you got to check out. And been a running theme lately, Mike, introducing a guest to the show and seeing what they think. So who's our guest today, Mike?
Well, today, I haven't even introduced myself. I just wanted to hear you go on about the intro of the cast. That was a wonderful introduction to the podcast itself, Dre. I have to take a moment to compliment you on that. Before
Your
I move
name was
on,
in it multiple times. Mike, go back, rewind it. With Mike, me and Mike. Mike is in there all the time.
wow, I tried to compliment you and get it right back at me. So yeah, we have a wonderful guest on today. This is Naj, and she comes to us from London right now.
Yeah, well, specifically, I live in Salisbury, which is, if you're aware of Stonehenge, it's nearby there. So summer solstice, winter solstice, it gets very interesting. We get a fair share of druids around here. I actually believe there is a person named King Arthur that runs for local council. So that's the kind of like quirky place it is. But yeah, hello, it's really lovely to meet you. My name is Najmah Salam, but you can call me Naj. I'm so excited. Yes, very true to form. I have not watched a single episode of Babylon 5 until yesterday when I watched The Fall of Night, the season 2 finale.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I want for our guests. We want to throw you in the middle of it and just get your impressions of everything.
Oh boy.
And then the follow-up we usually ask is, did you watch any episodes other than this one? For just to clarify for the audience, that's all we ask. When we have a guest, we're like, this is the episode. We have notes. You're not obligated. But I'm curious if you watched any before, and have you watched any since watching the episode?
No, so well and truly, like before coming here, I really wanted to be fresh, right? Like only watching this episode with no other context whatsoever floating in my mind. But I may do that after we talk, you know?
This is my favorite. I've told Mike before, I love the natural experiment, and it's so hard for that. I mean, especially in the modern era, like
Totally.
Instagram at this point to me will just feed me clips of shows. So another
Oh my
podcast
gosh.
we want that we kind of, they're not our sister podcast, but we're their sister podcast, if that makes sense. We go alternating weeks from Himboos over on the Gamefully Unemployed. I've never seen Supernatural, and that's a Supernatural podcast about the show Supernatural. But I have seen at least 3 to 4 episodes worth and at least 10 to 20 major spoilers of the show from Instagram.
Oh, I've been watching it with him. If you haven't seen Supernatural, it's such a fun round.
I'm on Tumblr and I've never watched Supernatural, but I know everything about Supernatural.
You just get these random, you're like, why am I watching it? The devil's here. I'm like, what's going on? But yeah, let's not spoil Supernaturals. Let's spoil Babylon 5
Spoil
in the
Babylon
best way.
5.
Yeah, for sure. Well, anyway, Naj, do you have any plugs you want to get up at the top of the episode before we get into it? Anything that people should be checking out for you anywhere else?
Oh my gosh, that's so kind. Well, I would love if people just checked out my website, najmahsalam.com. You can pretty much see everything I'm up to there. I'm what I like to call a multi-classer. Like I have several fingers and several pies. So right now I'm working as a producer for an indie game studio, for example. But sometimes I do graphic design and sometimes I created the tabletop character creators. So like I'm kind of all over the place geek-wise.
And I feel left out here because I can go games, I can go podcasts, I can go development, and then music is where I drop off. All right. So by the way, I'll throw this out. The connection. Babylon 5, which had computer graphics, which looked like a video game, and has some fantastic music by Christopher Frank, which we haven't talked yet. That might have to just be a side episode at some point, Mike, because it's, we have the plot wise, this is so heavy, and that's where I know.
Oh
All
my
right.
gosh.
As mentioned, we are going to season 2 finale, The Fall of Night. We have been going we do go chronological, even though we pick out. So we have had some updates since our last episode, Hunter Prey, which inexplicably predated Blade with Richard Mole from Night Court. But anyway.
Previously on
Babylon 5. So, Mike, I actually did put in some taglines to keep everything straight because a lot's gone on. We have 5 episodes since last time. We had Knives, where Londo kills a friend to help a friend, revealing his descent into bad alliances. Also, Sheridan gets a pet ghost, but he's not allowed to keep it.
Yeah, that's where he just inhales a bunch of alien LSD and just has some fun spacing out.
And then he has to go to plot-wise. We can kind of give the justification. There is a time rift out there in this universe that doesn't show up in this episode that they'll have to go to later. And so he goes to the time rift to release the ghost. And on the one hand, you could say it's just a fun episode. It's fine. Plot building wise, you can be like, okay, it's just to keep that in our mind. Not just me being
world building with the LSD releasing ghost.
Exactly.
Oh,
All right, we
naturally.
have one of this would have been a solid you got to check this out episode, Micah, though more as a standalone as opposed to like Babylon 5 proper. Confessions and Lamentations, which is a poignant episode on the plague and how species tear each other apart when there's like a big pandemic. Weird. And then apologies, I had to go blue. Also, Sheridan, Delenn, and Lanier's romance/cuckold relationship blossoms. Really, it's a weird side plot. We are going to have to talk more, Mike. We got Sheridan and Delenn. You see them in this episode. They, become a thing long term.
They start getting together. Yeah, that episode was really a bottle episode. A lot of it was just like Delenn and Lanier going to console all these aliens. And it was just really depressing because they were all just dying around them the entire episode.
Oh, gosh.
And then, like at the very start, Sheridan has a date with Delenn, and Delenn's like, my assistant's in here, and he did all the work, and he's going to sit by us as we do everything. And you're like, cool. I hope that doesn't keep going. Spoiler, Mike, it does.
It does.
Oh, my gosh.
We have divided loyalty. So a character you don't know but did show up in the credits, Talia Winters, our telepath, is written off the show in what I called a great plot line that still has some horrible psychic acting. Shout out to, I think, Andrea Thompson is the actress's name. She has an amazing scene to get off the show, which is almost kind of sad because her argument correctly is she was misused and probably not acting, like not being directed well. And she like leaves the show and you're like, more of that. Why? And she's like, I'm out.
And she had a real long-term slow burn where you didn't know if she was still loyal to the Psy-Corps, this shadowy force back on Earth. They resolve her plot by, she was bad the whole time. And she had a trigger in her that turned her bad again.
And she definitely do a Poochie. She's like, and I am dead and I am never coming back. And she is gone and I'm never coming back. And you're like,
and you see the animation cell just like actually lift off because they didn't want to animate the whole thing.
Just like Tasha, very similar to Tasha Yar on Star Trek. We can't avoid the comparison. An actress
right there,
unhappy with their role gets written off the show in an unceremonious.
I was very surprised that the actress who played Alita, she's only in 2 episodes of all of season 3, and she's on the DVD box cover. I thought she was going to really take over a lot more.
All right, Mike, keep your count coming. Spoiler, she is huge in 4, but that is wild she's not in 3 because I remember her bigger. All right. Also, Sheridan learns that Ivaonava is a telepath. Does it matter? Not really. No. And Kosh, stay in blue, sorry. Kosh exposes himself to Lita again.
Oh, no.
It's,
those Vorlons.
Then we have the long twilight struggle where the non-Centauri war ends with Londo saying, last time I'm using the shadows, I swear. He turns into a real prick, and Jakar, our Narn, that we do see a lot in this episode, gets sanctuary on Babylon 5. All right, last one before this, Phil from Modern Family cosplays as a serial killer interrogator. We get the intro to the famous Vorlon phrase, who are you? And Jakar establishes himself as leader of the Narn by asking for a bunch of help from Garibaldi.
Yeah, pretty much. And then we find at the end that was Jack the Ripper, the actual Jack the Ripper that they went back and got from earlier in the timeline.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it's like this. It's this weird thing at the end. Oh, and that guy who's the torture, he was Jack the Ripper the whole time.
Actually, we can tie things together. This is actually important. So at the very end of this episode, one of the characters is going to say, they've been manipulating us. And when we get to that scene, we'll talk about it. And that last episode, it was actually nice to pair these next to each other because the last episode is sketch in that regard. We kind of, the Vorlons are supposed to be an angelic kind of like helpful race that's there to help. And the episode before this, as well as this episode, we rightly have Sheridan having reservations about that, which is correct.
Cool. Well, then we have one more thing to spring on you before we go to the episode proper. Speaking of Talia Winters, this is the Talia Winters memory quiz for our guest.
Oh.
You did watch the episode before we started, correct?
Yes, I certainly did.
All right.
Yeah.
So I've got a few questions here. So,
okay, I'm nervous.
All right. The category for question 1 is training day.
Okay.
What is the name of the squadron that's getting trained by Sheridan at the beginning of the episodes?
Okay, is it Zeta Squadron?
It is Zeta. 1 point on the board for Nod.
King's Yards.
All right. Question number 2. The category is nerd numbers. How many days a week does Sheridan say he's running Zeta Squad training exercises?
Oh my gosh, I don't remember this. I'm just gonna say he's writing them hard though, so I'm gonna say 7.
7? He was only running 3 days a week. The nerd number in this question was 3 days.
I feel embarrassed. My avatar all over the internet is nerd numbers, and I think I'm 1 for 3 on nerd numbers questions in these quizzes. So
it's more for me to taunt Dre with the category name today. All right. The next category is name that dude.
Okay.
What is the name of the lieutenant in this episode who is tracking the shadows?
Oh my god, can I refer to my notes? Because I feel like I
Yes.
may have written this down. Okay, let's see.
if you have a funny nickname, we will 100% count it. That is a funny thing on the show
Okay,
too.
okay. I don't think I wrote his name down, but I did call him Tanned Mr. Eyebrows in my notes here. So
I'm counting Tanned Mr. Eyebrows.
That's 2 points. All right, and there's a bonus question that goes with this one. Can you describe the ultimate fate of Lieutenant Eyebrows?
he dies, searching for the shadow.
He was radiated from the inside via shadow attack, so that's another point for you.
And also, wait, can I also bring up my notes here? I described the shadow as looking like a drag queen stray eyelash.
Oh, that's so much better. So the classic one is the hair clip.
It's two of they came together to form a hair clip out of the eyelashes.
Exactly.
I love it.
You kind of want to see like a RuPaul's Drag Race episode and be like,
100%.
you almost want to like image. I used to do this was my grad school, sorry, related tangent. But the object detection that your phone does, that was what I did in grad school. And that would be hilarious to run a scanner through. Like, how much does this look like a shadow?
Yes.
The next category is Earth bureaucracies. What organization did Frederick Lance, that's the old Harvey Keitel looking dude from Earth, what organization did he represent back on Earth?
Okay, so this is the Ministry of Peace.
That is the Ministry of Peace.
Yes.
All right. Next category, Races of Babylon 5. In Sheridan's transport, 2 young males of what race clearly leave behind a bomb?
I didn't know this one, but they were humanoid, but they weren't human.
That's correct. That's close enough. Those are Centauris. They got the bird hair on it.
Yes, right. Got you.
And the last question, all right, this is quite possibly the most important one. The category is future fashion.
Okay.
What pattern is the groovy scarf that Lieutenant Eyebrows wears in the locker room?
I regret not spotting this.
I have multiple choice possibilities
throw them at
here.
me. All right.
All right. A, it's a standard issue Earth Force paisley floral pattern. B, purple with white diagonal stripes. C, blue with white embroidered ships. Or D, green with white horizontal stripes.
Okay, I feel like he's a purple guy. So I'm gonna say purple.
I feel you too, but it was blue with little tiny white embroidered ships all over the sky.
It looked like polka dots to me, and this felt like a Guys and Dolls reference where they have the bet, and he covers the scarf, and he goes, lost the bet on polka dots.
I originally had his polka dots, but I had to screenshot it to be look real close to all these tiny embroidered
in.
strips.
It looks like
gosh.
polka dots at standard res. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's not good. All right, Dre. All done with the quiz. Naj got out with 5 points for that quiz.
Oh,
I didn't actually keep count. So if I'm wrong, you can talk to me about it later, listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If Mike's wrong, came out with 6. So
Yes.
all right, moving on.
At the end of this episode, we will definitely check in on what Mike is calling a Shatner Picard index. And if you head over to mikeslater.com or slatron.github.io, that will be where Mike has lots of amazing running blog posts along with his podcast, including occasional ones by a guest writer who is using other people's stuff. So a guest writer, if we call.
And I guarantee that it will make no sense the way I explain it on the actual podcast. The thoughts will be better in the article. Just go there.
Okay.
We enter with our nerd number scene, which is Captain Sheridan, the captain of the ship, is training all of his Star Furies, and basically almost very explicitly so saying, "I'm training you to fight the Centauri." And we have had a run up to this the last few episodes. They won the Centauri Narn War using the shadows. And Jakar is even yelling at people, "You thought you were safe. They're coming for you too." And Sheridan's keeping track when he's saying, "We got to be prepared to fight the Centauri." Hope that doesn't come up in this episode. And then also we've got, I guess it's Delta Squadron training to fight the Centauri. And then we also have that, actually, so this is not related to the scene. One of our Star Fury pilots is Kefir, which is Tanned Eyebrow, who was played by Robert Russler. And kind of painfully, he was always meant to die because he was a studio note to JMS.
Yeah.
Michael Straczynski wrote most, like, so it's his baby, his idea, was even taken to be written, was turned into Deep Space Nine as well, based on his show Bible. He was given like a directive in the beginning of season 2 to add a hotshot pilot, and he did not like that, so he added him to the credits. He's on the credits. Only
Every
shows
episode.
up in 6
You
episodes.
see him before every episode and not in the episode.
And he has mentioned on director's commentaries that this season is where that like the studio notes. So both Talia Winters and Kefir were both basically studio notes, people he was forced to add. He originally wanted Lita Alexander, who does come back, played by Talia Shire, I believe. She comes back, not for a while, but yeah. So he had some studio notes. You have to have these actors. He didn't like those actors. They get written out.
Interesting.
You saw everything that a Lieutenant Eyebrows had to do for the entire season. Like,
Right.
the only thing he does is kind of start to see shadows around. And you saw like the whole arc that he goes on. You basically did it in one episode.
I see. You know what's interesting? So I've done game dev and I'm really interested in narrative design. And so I couldn't help but view this episode through the lens of, the narrative and, plotting things out and, like how I would have structured this episode. It was really interesting, just like as a big sci-fi nerd that I am, like I'm big into Star Trek TNG and DS9 and Battlestar Galactica. It's so packed, this episode. My God, there's 2 major plots running at the same time. And Lieutenant Eyebrows gets killed off very unceremoniously. And it's like normally what you would expect in an episode is for a comparable series, right? It's like there would be like one meaty storyline, right? So yeah, it's interesting to see that like clearly that makes sense because clearly they were trying to like shove in the storyline to be like, we're finishing this guy now.
And he made it useful, right? Because we'll get to that scene. But then also what I'll throw out, because Mike loves this this music comparable, is like improv as well. Because there's this huge, like, I love the phrase you use that I'm already dropping, like the narrative design, I think is what you said.
Yeah.
It gets even wilder when you're like, and I have to do this with real people that might not want to be on the show, or people that are like, after ratings for a show come out and say more of that. And it's really funny because it's like he has to plot 5 years in the future while also having to keep improving along the way, which is really fun.
Yeah, that is wild.
All right, this next scene is very interesting because we get the basically 2 lieutenants of our 2 kind of like angelic race and evil race. So the Centauri is Vir Kodo and Lanier is the Minbari, who are the more like holy race. And they just meet up to basically complain and say, our 2 leaders, who will be Delenn and Londo, both of who we'll see lots of in this episode. They never listen to us. They do this. And it is a really nice juxtapose because in theory, we've got the evil guy and the good guy, right? The evil team and good team.
Wow.
2 henchmen in there.
There's a lot that's going on in
enjoyed
this
that.
scene. This I think is my favorite scene of the episode for all that happened.
Me too.
It's subtly shown because these are the second in command to the force of good and force of evil. And we've seen Lanier, who is the second in command of the force of good, do some underhanded things. And we've seen Veer, who is the second in command to the evil kind of guy on throws, do some very good things to the point where like he is shuttling out refugees from a planet that his race is subjugating.
And we get the start of that storyline here where he apologizes to Jakar, and Jakar's, cool, you're apologizing. What good's that do me?
And these are two characters that don't interact hardly at all. So it's almost like a surprise for someone who's been watching this for the 2 seasons. Oh, they've been on the side meeting every day because they end the scene with same time tomorrow. Yeah.
Right.
And the two actors play it so well, like they're old friends who both of them are really weary about where they're at and can only logically console with each other for what's going on.
That's so okay. So my assumption was, right, having never watched, I guess this is a beauty of me coming in fresh. I thought that these two might have had some sort of like ongoing frisson, as you know, obviously like guys from like opposing sides, like maybe like a snippy remark here or some prank there, or I don't know, something like that. But if you guys are saying that they never really had any scenes together, and this is like the first real scene that they've had, that's crazy. Because like, why not? Why isn't there more of that, David?
But you're right, though. That's the hard part is the major people, Delenn and Londo, or Sheridan and Londo, they have these great scenes together, and these other people in the background. And then I'm glad you gave an entry point to that, Mike, what you said. Lanier, every time we've done it, he's very like pure and chaste, but then he kind of winds up doing duplicitous things. At one point, he even like lies for Londo, who is the head guy for Veer. So like the pure assistant lies for essentially who has become the devil at this point.
You wouldn't really pick up on that not having seen the episode a lot. So I was really interested to how if some of that came across to you, Naj. And it like seemed like it really did. You were picking up on stuff going on in that scene for these, and it all had to come through the actors to show, hey, we've had this rapport that hasn't been shown at all.
Yeah, I mean, they genuinely, I think the characterization of these two guys is that they're just doing their jobs. They're truly bureaucrats. They're kind of like doing the dirty work behind the scenes, it feels like. And I think like the interesting thing about like villainy and like bad guy versus good guy is that in the bad guy's mind, they're not the bad guy. Right? So it's, you know, in their mind, they're the ones doing the right thing. You know, so truly it feels like they're both coming from a very peer-to-peer moment here, these two guys. They're just like, yeah, I just work here, man.
Yep.
So that's what it felt like to me.
Did you have something else, Dre, on that scene?
Yeah, brief aside, just good narrative design. I do realize like JMS has an arc for every character on this show, these two included.
Yep.
That's cool to think about, you know, very Dan Harmon. Every character on an ensemble show should have an arc. And that'll be fun to plot when we get to the end, Mike. All right. So to that point on the think they're doing good, this is really nice because exactly what Sheridan was fearing. We get the non-aligned worlds are like the smaller alien races. So we have the 4 major players that you probably caught up on is the Minbari, Earth, Centauri, was the Narn, but they got defeated by the Centauri, and then also the Vorlons, but Vorlons are like their own category with the Shadows. So the non-aligned worlds, these weaker races are saying the Centauri are basically kind of the very Hitler World War II. They're taking over outposts in bordering territory between ours. What you're saying, when Sheridan does confront Londo about it, who is the Centauri ambassador, kind of being groomed for leadership in that way, is basically saying, why do you keep attacking? And Londo was saying, you know, we're reclaiming these things, we're defending, we're doing it for the good of the area, we have to stabilize, all sorts of things, you know, justifying his actions. And what I do love is Garibaldi, who is chief of security on the station, is standing behind Sheridan at the end. He basically does explain. He's scared. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's kind of grabbed onto a bull he can't control, and he's puffing his chest out. He used to be like, we've seen him. This is the end of 2 seasons. We've seen him, and he's been the bumbling buffoon or the sympathetic character. Everybody has to help him out. And Garibaldi's able to pick up really quick. And, you know, he tells the audience, first-time viewers, this isn't him. He's scared and doesn't know what the heck to do because he's more than he can chew.
Yeah, it's interesting. He doesn't seem like he's fully believes what he's saying in that scene, Londo. And then to have that kind of validated by the chief of security, you know, I kind of got the sense that, maybe in earlier seasons or earlier episodes, this guy, he's not like the person you're going to be most intimidated by, but it seems like now that he's grappled onto a little bit of power and he's like holding on to it for dear life, you know, as someone who hasn't had that power before and isn't used to kind of like living in that space, right? Not like someone who's born to it.
Yep. Yeah, and across season 3 especially, like all those things go deeper and deeper into Londo's character. He gets
Interesting.
really complex throughout that season
And I
because
hope I get the pronunciation of his name right, but Peter Jurasik. He is the actor. He is prolific, has been everywhere.
he's a hammy actor. I call him Jurassic Pork sometime.
Oh, boo. But no,
Oh.
he's amazing. And that's this point is he just, come on. I'm giving him a compliment. Anyway, he just like his ability to play across like all the different roles that he has to. He is fantastic because he does play like intimidating, angry. I absolutely love it. Okay. We also do hear we get some false hope because Sheridan representing Earth is talking to Ivaonava and
Yeah.
they're like, the Centauri are out of control. I really hope we get to do something. The Ministry of Peace with Frederick Lance is showing up. It's like Earth is we're the good guys, right? We're gonna do the good thing.
Yeah, Ministry of Peace, right?
Yeah.
Also, in my notes, I called him not Kyle McLachlan.
Yes, the Skeevo, I called him in my notes.
Yeah.
Mr. Skeevo.
Now we do get into apparently they're miniature spaceships on a blue scarf. We check in on a Star Fury. The Star Fury pilots who are like, oh my God, what the heck's going on? And, Tanned Eyebrows is like, you know how I've cared about the shadows? And everybody's, wasn't that 5 episodes? Are you still here? And he's like, yeah, with the
Yeah,
shadows.
still here. And I got
Doesn't
a
even go
scarf.
here.
Check out my scarf. I'm here.
He's like, got to check out the shadows. And someone's, some other pilot said they saw a shadow too.
Yeah.
And also just as an FYI, I think we mentioned this if I didn't. Early on, we heard, hey, he's been tracking shadows. And Sheridan, who knows about the shadows and wants to keep a low profile, says, tell him to stop checking on the shadows. So he's been
Keep
told
it
he's
on
not
the
allowed to
down
look.
low.
And he's, don't tell me what to do. And he now hears someone else has heard about the shadows. So, yes.
So we have his little Garibaldi detective plot throughout this episode.
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed. I mean, what's the quote I had here? When he's talking to that pilot and he describes the a spider big as death and twice as ugly.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, okay. He knew he was on his way out and he wanted to really eat that scene,
Yep.
It is funny. This actually happened at the end of season 1 as well, where there is an actor who has to play a role that's basically doomed.
Right.
And I think you said in the notes, Mike, and I think you might have heard it in the director's commentary. I think I have in the past. I don't think he knew he was on his way out because he was like a leading actor. He's in a major storyline. And that also in season 1, there was a character that was hired because he looked like a betrayer and then he betrays and he hadn't been directed that he was a betrayer. So I was like,
Yeah.
that
but
is
that's
so
great, though.
harsh.
No, I think that's great. I think that's really the right way to direct someone if you're going to have that twist, right? Want to like this person to keep believing that they're the good guy the whole time, especially if they're like a sleeper agent or something.
It's exactly
right?
what you were saying earlier. No villain's going to believe you're the villain. So
Yeah.
what better way to portray that than have an actor who doesn't know they're the villain?
Yeah, exactly. So that's really interesting stuff. I mean, yeah, and another point about the pilots talking about, it had a spooky kind of like mood to it, a spooky vibe to it, that scene. And I think it's really interesting. I love whenever there's like a hint of the kind of like supernatural or superstitious nature, because when you think about, seafarers, right? A lot of what they do is so, dependent on luck, on the moods of the universe and the seas. And so they're going to be really superstitious people. You find that a lot with people who are like, a lot of what they do is so dependent on luck. Circus people or, people who work in theater, there's a lot of superstitions. And so I really love like in sci-fi when there's some kind of like superstition floating around like pilots and stuff.
Yeah, because that happens so almost like in baseball where there's so much superstition. I bet it's like has to go so much through like these troops going out into space on these death missions.
Exactly.
They get into some episodes where they like some of the pilots say like, why am I surviving? Like people have survivor's guilt after a while.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
after a certain amount of missions, that's got to build up to where there's some pretty deep superstitions.
That was
sure.
That was a good catch too, because that's actually the in-universe lore for how faster than light travel works, is that they have jump gates that connect various points in space to handle the relativity problem of everybody'd be old of space, and and the way JMS does write that is essentially like a sea. They're going through a sea with weird stuff, all that, which we do see a little this episode.
Like literally the winds are
Interesting.
shifting on them. They have to go with it. But
Yeah,
this
right.
completely explains the scarf. That is Lieutenant Eyebrow's lucky things. If he doesn't have the scarf on, and I don't think he had that scarf on for the last scene that he had.
This is a fan theory that that needs investigation.
He has never washed that scarf. I am putting money on it.
It's good. I mean, I don't want to pass. Like, we've had some good fan theories that I've written about, and then I called one of Mike's explanations boring. This is good, but it's pretty down the line. It's a pretty standard. I agree.
It's the dirty blue scarf. It's not an entendre. It's just a dirty blue scarf. Right. Sometimes a dirty blue scarf is just a dirty blue scarf.
But Dre, how does Batman relate to all this?
Okay, so in the next scene, we have to find a name for this, Mike, which is, I want to call it the Star Trek Babylon 5 Batman Triumvirate.
He did it. What a pro.
Because a lot of the actors on this show have also starred in Star Trek properties, including Deep Space Nine. A lot of them have also starred in Batman, usually animated. The animated series overlaps. So, but what we do have is our two actors is we have Roy Dotrice, who is a BAFTA award-winning actor, but is most well known as the Coach.
Yeah, in the Cutting Edge. Oh my God! So here's where I gotta, because Karen was watching this over her book, Little Bits. This guy came on and she was like, "I know that guy from somewhere." And I swear he has resting Doctor Who villain face. So he had to be just in a Doctor Who episode somewhere, and it just hit Karen's The Cutting Edge. So we watched The Cutting Edge right before this too, and it's him.
Oh my gosh!
Topic. And that's a great movie, but I always do laugh about that with actors. You never know what you're going to be famous for, and it's like, you are a BAFTA award-winning actor who has spanned decades, and people are going to remember you as the Coach that tried to get a guy to kill his... I had that other thing in my notes that The Cutting Edge was written by Tony Gilroy, who did Andor.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. He did some Batman episodes, so
bring it back to Batman.
Yeah, get to that. And then we also do have, it's actually the actor who plays Neroon, who is also a very prolific actor in Babylon 5, but I believe John Vickery is how you say his name. And it's interesting because it looks like he's not a major actor, but has been in some big things. Stopped in 2012 with Modern Family, kind of everywhere. I think Mike recognized him as well. But
Karen recognized him from a bunch of detective shows. He just does a ton of TV work.
He's been in. He crosses the Babylon 5 Deep Space Nine well. And what I actually do love, I'll give a major spoiler. He's a skeevy character in this episode. JMS brings him back later after everything's resolved, and we're like, "Hey, did we get rid of all the skeevy people in U.S. government?" And he's still around. And I do think JMS is very much a realist. He has the heroes, but he does keep it more grounded. Where he's like, this person's this clearly skeevy guy, because we have the Ministry of Peace, which is Robert, the BAFTA actor plays him. He kind of looks like Harvey Keitel is how Mike described him. And then we have, I've just dropped his name, but Skeevo is how you say it, representing the
like Steve-O, but skeevy.
Yeah. Representing the Night Watch, which is this really ominous organization. We've seen them before, including on this podcast, and we'll talk about them more in a minute. Yeah, he's skeevy to the max, and guess what? He gets to stick around after everything resolves. I will give that spoiler.
Not Kyle McLachlan. He's up to no good.
Yeah, JMS remembers he has homework and has to do something with Kefir, so we do get back to Kefir talking to another pilot. Then he's just here. I would not follow the shadows. But here is a neutrino thing that you could follow them with. They would probably kill you, so I wouldn't do it. I'm out. And you're like, everybody that has talked to you about the shadows has said, stop it.
Yep.
And then anybody that's had a kid is, we know where this is going. Okay, now I think all of us saw this coming, where they're like, Earth's going to help. This really kindly looking, the fixer, Harvey Keitel, but
they always word it like, we're going to look into the Centaurs for the first half of the episode. Very non-committal language.
The Earth Centauri, the Earth guy that says he's here to look into the Centauri problem, who looks like Harvey Keitel, Ministry of Peace. He's got a pen. He's talking to Ivaonava. I got grandkids. I want them to have a better future. Right. We're going to help with the Centauri. But then also, he's getting cagey. Like, what are you going to do? He's like, we'll talk to them. We're going to talk to the Centauri and the other people. And you're like, oh, anybody who knows narration, I think we all knew where this was going. But for the audience who's listening along.
Did you catch the thing in the JMS commentary about the pen kissing?
That was the actor himself, right?
Yeah, that was the actor. This pen represents my dead wife. I am going to kiss the pen several times in the scene as my actor's secret. And JMS was like, All right, you go. Do what
But
you
that's,
want.
but it's funny.
That's nice.
Well, not actually
Yeah.
what you're saying. Like
Yeah.
sometimes that's, wrestling is my favorite where you ground the line between reality and fiction. And
Yes.
funny, scarves are really a major thing for a main actor in wrestling, Chris Jericho. But it is that thing where you're like, I have to find a way to make my character seem human or real or grounded to the audience. And it's
Yeah.
going, that's perfect, right? You have this old guy who's saying he's thinking of a future and wanting a better place. And he's saying, this is my good luck pen. And the real actor's doing this. Yeah, that's perfect. Like that 100% aligns with what his actor is trying to portray. And I think, now, as you said at the beginning, and we keep seeing this, right? Everybody in here, for the most part, thinks they're doing things for the right reason. And that's important.
100%. I was going to say a dead giveaway that these guys are not don't have the best intentions though, is they have a British or transatlantic accent.
Oh, that is rough, right? Anytime the Brits show up on a show. And that was like, was that intentionally or not? Because, Star Wars, of course, hired a bunch of British actors to
There you
portray
go.
the Empire. And I don't know if that was like the start of it, but I think it is usually like, we need to get accomplished actors for these filler roles. And those filler roles are villains. And just over time and like,
That was an
cinema
accident because it
shows.
was that's where they had to go to actually be able to afford the production. It was cheaper to go over there at Star Wars, and it just happened to set almost this trope of, hey, if you want to shorthand someone as colonists, just make them that transatlantic British accent.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, these guys, I'm suspicious of them.
We're about halfway through our episode, and we do get our call to action wherever you want to point at the Dan Harmon story circle, whatever. This is awesome. A Narn warship hops. It's cool. It's like, it doesn't quite hop in. One of the people on the deck says, hey, we're detecting something behind the planet. So it's in the shadow, right? People can't see it. But we see the ship, and it's a Narn warship who just lost the war. This was actually like, as opposed to some of the bad exposition dump, this was like good exposition dump where they're like, wait a minute, didn't you just lose the war? Why are you here? Yeah, all the major ships were destroyed or confiscated. We happen to be out. That's why we're here. We're running on empty. Sets up some good things that'll come up, right? Like most of our things are down, so we might have to take off our jump gates if we do that. It's weird where on the Evan episode, we kind of discussed this, where it's like there are story conventions that as long as they are done well and set up, you don't mind. So this is one I liked, where it's like, literally this starship jumps in as I am the call to action of this episode. Here are all the conflicts we're going to run into, but it's very organic. It's like an air traffic controller asking an airplane, hey, what's the situation of your medical system? Are you
Right.
able to jump? Yada, yada,
Right.
yada. Why are you here? Because of the war. This was I love, Mike, you loved the good character scene. And I love this really good tent pole narrative scene that held up. And so we do get number 2, who looks like Twin Peaks. That's the actor for me, representing the Night Watch. And he approaches Ivaonava and he basically says, hey, I'm with the Night Watch. You are awesome. We would love to talk to you more. Hey, we could grease the wheels to get you a promotion. And Ivaonava basically just says, hey, I've been watching Night Watch like the audience has. You all are sketch. If you're a brand new member and didn't know Night Watch is sketch, he is absolutely sketch. I did like Mike's note that he's, a little much to lay all our cards on the table. But that is also very much in line with her character. Her character is very blunt. It's
Yeah.
like Sheridan is going to be, maneuvery, not give everything away. Whereas Ivaonava, you tell her something and she's no.
I like her a lot. Yeah, I really identify with that type of character a lot. And it's like she was like a quick favorite for me. Yes, go ahead, Mike.
Oh no, I really liked how this subtly showed like organizations like that not only are how they dig into a society that isn't expecting it coming, like some kind of fascist organization, how they get everybody to spy on each other, how they get everybody trained each other in, which comes
Yeah.
later in the episode. But here they tried to get people in second command positions.
Yes.
Just like earlier from first season, Clark was the one they had down in the second position and wait to take out the person
Interesting.
at the top. So they were ready to slowly take over. And you really
Yeah.
see how fascism slowly takes hold from within. And it was just a really good way to do that.
I mean, who's going to be more motivated as well? The guy who's already in power or the guy who wants to be the guy at the top,
Yes.
right? So, yeah, and a neat little bit of characterization I observed is that he just saunters into her room, her personal space, rather than waiting respectfully in front of her door to be like, hey, can I come in? So that already is like a hint as to what kind of character he is. Like he just kind of waltzes into her personal space that way.
Even the blocking is good for character.
Yeah. It's, I think, Yeah, all of us are good at looking at the seams, and it is great when you're like, we see the seams, but we agree with them. And yeah, so yeah, I missed those 2 points, but you are absolutely right. Where yeah, he's taking up a majority of the scene, definitely ominous, and we are going to have a really nice juxtapose of that scene with another number 2 shortly. All right, now I think we're almost running out of give us false hope scenes. We're almost there. So what we get is Sheridan tells Jakar, who is the leader of the Narn that was established.
This one
last
hurts the
episode.
worst with Jakar. He is so excited for something to happen.
Yeah.
He's look, one of your Narn heavy cruisers survived. We're going to give it sanctuary. Hey, Earth is here. They said they're
Yeah.
going to start looking into the Narn conflict. He's, hey, by the way, the guy's going to be over there. You can, and yeah, Mike is doing
He's
a great
giddy.
impressive Jakar.
Yeah, he's absolutely giddy with, yeah, exactly. He's so excited. And I was just like, oh no, this is going to end badly.
It feels so bad. It's like I'm waiting for my heart to get gutted out. While he's just so.
And so Jakar skips out and he has been really downtrodden, rightfully so. Right? His race just lost a war. He had to give up his position of command. His unofficial position of command was questioned. He had to ask for favors, which is very atypical for him. So it's like he has just really been getting beaten up 3 episodes. We're giving him hope. JMS ain't nice. Okay, now we get to haircut. Did you have a nickname for this haircut? So this is Zach Allen, who played Kaniki, actually, in
From
Greece.
Greece.
Yeah.
I thought you clocked him straight away, and I thought, oh my god, it's Kaniki from Greece.
Yeah.
I genuinely, literally, my nickname for him is just Kaniki from Greece because that movie has a very dear place in my heart.
That's in line. He was still getting recognized at that at Babylon 5 conventions for that.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of backstory. Episodes ago, he signed up for Night Watch, and they did the easy thing. They basically said, we'll give you 50 credits a week if you just report what you see. And he's, I'm on security. That's already my job.
Right.
They're just going to give me $50 to be on security. Why wouldn't I take that?
Yeah.
Another thing we do in Universe is we regularly check in on finances and costs. This is a space station. It's expensive to run. Back home, they're complaining about the budget. Various people are told, hey, you have to be in smaller quarters or pay more. So this is very in line. And he's like, hey, I'll take the 50
Interesting.
credits. And then they're like, you're not really doing anything. And he's like, I'm security. I'm not noticing anything atypical. And they get that nice little breadcrumb, the real evil thing where he's like, hey, look, okay, you don't have to say anything. This person said something. If you just validate what they said, you're not saying anything new. We already have the report.
Yeah.
If you do that, we're good. And he's like, yeah, that shop owner was saying some anti-Earth stuff. And he does rattle off a list. He's like, hey, we're getting reports of these lurkers saying the president is bad and these aliens saying this. And he's like, all of these anti-Earth sentiments, we just want to be aware of them. We just want to know. And he's, hey, we heard of this shop. Can you validate it? And unfortunately, Zach's, yeah, I heard it. So nice juxtapose to him versus Ivaonava's. Your sketch, leave me alone. And Alan's, okay, I get, you're not that bad.
Yeah, they have these scenes right next to each other for a reason.
He's literally surrounded in the room, right? They've stuck him right in the middle, and he's got all of these sort of like night watch like cronies, looking really ominous around him, So he's literally surrounded. He's in a really tough position there. Who knows what these people are capable of, right? So it's a really uncomfortable scene. I feel for him as well. Yeah, so it's a really interesting scene, and I really love sci-fi that like it is a way of telling stories that examine our lives now and what our anxieties are now and what our conflicts are now. I mean, people snitching on each other and people fighting for resources when they're short. Like they're on a ship that's got thousands of people on it.
Yeah, 250,000 is what our intro tells us, right?
Good Lord. Yeah. So, I'm sure that like people are kind of scrabbling for resources wherever they can.
All right. Now we finally, boom, shoe drops. Jakar gets to meet Neville Chamberlain, is who we refer to him in a minute. We'll explain that reference in that scene. And he's like, hey, can we talk about what you're going to do with the Centauri? He's like, I'm very busy. I can't talk. And I'm off to talk to the Centauri. And you're like, uh-oh. And now we know.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, he just does not want to talk to Jakar, any Narn thing at all. And immediately it's apparent that, that's what they're doing.
I think this was in a conversation later of Ivaonava, but this would be screwing over every other of the unaligned planets for Earth to align with the Centauri, right? So it's strategic, but in a way that it like basically opens up all of these other planets to conquest and conflict by the Centauri, which is bad.
Yeah,
to say
it
the least.
alienates
It's bad.
alienates every other race, which,
Yes.
I mean, to someone, especially to Sheridan's perspective, is the opposite of why Babylon 5 is even there.
Yeah,
Because he's trying, like in that second scene, he's talking to non-aligned worlds and really having them work with each other against the Centauri is what he wants.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you may or may not have been aware, like the lead actor ended up getting replaced. And go listen to previous episodes. You got to check this out. We talk about it in depth. In season 1, there was a much bigger thing where the Earth backstory is they got shellacked by the Minbari in the Earth Minbari War, but then the Minbari just mysteriously surrendered. And there's this very weird sentiment that a lot of season 1 is about, where Earth is like puffing its chest out. And our past captain was in the Earth Minbari War and is like, we were destroyed. Anybody that thinks we're in a position to take a seat of power in the universe at that level is fooling themselves. But then even this season, we're seeing a lot of that come up. So yeah, we're getting that thing here where people like Sheridan, who was in the war, and Sinclair, our previous commander who was in the war, are like, look, we can't do this. And you have a bunch of people saying, now we're stronger. And so yeah, that's the other thing Sheridan is worried about. She's going, yeah, if we do this, we're not in a position where that's a good idea. Yeah. But that's what's happening, and we get that. And then we get the second really rough part of that. So we now know that, Neville Chamberlain, Harvey Keitel, whatever nickname you want to give him, head of Ministry of Peace, is sketch.
Mr. Cogsworth.
Yeah, Mr. Cogsworth. Love that. Good one,
the
too.
ice skating coach.
Ice skating coach. So the next scene, Sheridan is, hey, Earth's here. We're going to give you sanctuary. We're going to protect you. So you know what? You can drop your jump gates. You can care to your sick. Mike, the screenshot he put in our notes is, with our energy resources down, our medical systems are barely functioning. So he's like, take off your jump gates, take care of your people. We're going to protect you. You're in a good spot. I certainly hope nothing happens immediately after. And then the next scene, Harvey Keitel comes in and is like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you training our fighters against Centauri? We're about to sign a non-aggression treaty with this, and again, spot on this. I keep saying Neville Chamberlain because that's a famous person in history for England, where he said, we will at last know peace in our time. So they they tried to make a non-aggression treaty with Hitler right before World War II because they didn't want a repeat of World War I. And he's thinking of the future. I don't want us to go into another bad war, so I'm just going to let the bad people do whatever they want. And we literally have the exact same thing happening here. So it's, every alarm bell to any literary nerd, history nerd is going off right now.
Yeah, and it completely goes, you believe that he believes what he's saying from his whole things about, I want a better world for my grandkids. This is why I'm doing this. Like, you really feel his side of things, which is unfortunately how they're slipping into fascism.
It's that kind of thing, the banality of evil, right? It's the people who sign the papers, who do all of the admin, and just pure evil is happening. It's all in the enablement of what's going on here.
Okay, now unfortunately we do get a juxtapose. We had a great story, like I love that, the butler maid scene. We get a really weak butler maid scene because our guest Skeevo just randomly is walking down the hall, and a random person from the bridge runs up to him and is like, hey, sorry I missed the meeting, but FYI, there is a Narn cruiser that we are defending that we shouldn't be doing. And you're like, my 2 cents is it's one of two things. They could have cut this entirely because there's a scene where Harvey Keitel hops in and is like, what are you doing? And we could have just inferred from the night watch that already happens. Like, we could have even seen just that woman in the meeting and then seen her later on the bridge and just been like, we get it.
Yeah.
But also the slight defense I give is, this was a 42, 44-minute television show. And if you're like strapped for time, you're like, okay, but that scene. Yeah. I'm going to say the next scene is similar. I think it's a little better because we like the actors and we know them, but very similar, where Sheridan is, I can't believe Earth is doing it. Ivaonava, his second in command, comes in and she gives it. She's like, hey, it's the holiday season. I got a gift for you. And it's a piece of...
What's this piece of crap?
But we give it a little bit... I'll give it a little bit of credit because it is like holiday themed, and the season is supposed to be like one Earth year. This is supposed to be in December. We've had multiple references to, Christmas, Hanukkah. So it's okay.
I really like the light holiday setting on this one to remind us there, because there was a lot of, with the diplomacy that's happening through the episode, especially with Sheridan and the Narn and playing them off the Centauri and then Earth. It's like, what gifts are we giving each other? Who is going to have more compassion for the others here? And that's kind
the
of
idea
like
of charity, right?
Yes, I think just having that quick scene to put that in our minds before this episode goes not off the rails, but like into like overdrive, throwing everything at each other for the next few scenes.
Oh man, this gets going in a way. Now I love it. Well, forgive those kind of 2 filler scenes.
I think they were both served their purpose. I don't want to come across I didn't like them.
It's really obnoxious when if you're like analyzing. Again, narrative design, love that. Like when you're analyzing a piece of furniture and you're like, I can see the screw there or whatever. And you're like, yeah, because it's like, it's load bearing. It has to be there.
Yeah.
We can do things around it, but it's still going to look out of place to anybody looking for it. So
Sure. Yeah, yeah. I think it is funny though, because like my note down here is that this episode is full of audition sites. And that what I meant was like it's full of like dialogue you could hand to someone who could like just use it as their like audition for something.
oh yeah,
Audition sites.
I love those two, right? And I'm sure that those both sound very nomenclature. Just yeah, butler maid. Not shocking with all the like, yeah, you basically directed a movie with a game, which is wild. That is so cool. Yeah, all those things. Addition scenes, butler maid scenes, love it. Okay. Now, boom, this is awesome. Londo yells at Sheridan, what are you doing? Hey, give us the ship. It's under our jurisdiction. And Sinclair does, I'm going through a tunnel, can't hear you.
Yeah.
And then basically says, I promised them protection. This happened before first off, the non-aggression treaty hasn't been signed, and I agreed before that. We'll hear more about that in a minute. So basically what he says is he goes, here's what we're going to do. Get to the jump gate. We're going to offer you, we've offered you protection. We'll go around it. I don't know if it shows up this season, Mike, but it is a common through line for Sheridan later, which is don't start a fight, but always finish it. He says it's advice his dad gave him. A Centauri, because a Centauri war cruiser shows up and is give us the Narn vessel or we're killing all of you.
Awkward.
And they're like, you wouldn't do that. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Sheridan's like, just in case they do though. And then shocker, they actually do. They fire at everybody. They fire at fire at the station. They fire at the cruiser. They fire at the Star Furies. Mike's got a great note here from like the director's commentary, which does keep this ground, which is like planning for how this would work in space, right? You would have fire physical projectiles and the station would actually have like countermeasures that would, draw them because if they were tracking. So the Centauri lose, but then we cut to Sheridan. He's like, they can still help, we can send things, tell them to stand down. We'll help them out. And they explode. And I did note that as the trope because this happens multiple times, kind of rightfully so. It's like whenever our heroes get in a big fight and are about to blow something up, Mike's seen at least 2 episodes, I want to say next season with it, where Sheridan's, come on, you can live, it's fine, it's just a little cut, then boom, they explode, and we have to explain. Sheridan was like, I wanted them to live, but they caught on fire and blew up.
What are you gonna do?
Not much I can do there.
It's a design flaw in the ships,
Made it so flammable. Why are they so flammable?
All right. I really love this next scene. So now we get Sheridan getting told on, and it's hilarious because the Ministry of Peace is like, what the heck were you doing? And Sheridan's doing his maneuvering. He's like, first off, that aggression treaty hasn't been signed. Second off, I had offered them sanctuary. Third off, via like the code, I am morally obligated to offer them sanctuary. That is a running theme in a good way. Sheridan routinely uses the rules and is here's what's written down. If you want to change it, you got to change it. So he's doing good.
Yeah.
And so, of course, Neville Chamberlain, peaceful old grandpa's like, how dare you? And is angry. And the Night Watch guy comes in to Sheridan's defense. And you're like, oh, no. And he's, you know what? Sheridan's absolutely right. He absolutely did it correct. You are right. All he has to do is go offer an apology to the Centauri in front of everybody. And Earth says that's an order. It's like, it was so impressive because he's, wait, why are you on my side? And it's, he's getting you in his pocket.
Yep.
I was like, so good. And by the way, this guy also plays Naroon. John Vickery plays Naroon. And this guy whose name I forgot, but we'll just call him Skeevo, right?
Kyle McSkeevy.
Just amazing work on both. And he straddles this line between being a hero and a villain in his other role. So just really want to give shout out to just an amazing actor here. And just, this scene.
Just like the guy who plays Morden, he knows how to play into his look more.
Yeah. And so we're basically told Sheridan's going to go half, and he does it so well. I assume you've already written the apology for him. He said, no, write whatever you want.
Yeah.
You know what you have to say. And it's, so
That's even worse.
Oh, good.
The whole meaning is that like they own him. What you're just saying about because he has to do his own words and not their words, it's another layer of Earth Force owns me if I write this speech, this apology.
Yeah.
So he does do the wish fulfillment, like I'm sorry, not sorry, right? Yeah. And I like Mike's note. He's not going to say that. Something's going to happen. We don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Eyebrows does find the shadow ship and gets killed. And then Mike in the notes. Damn
Killed
you,
by a drag
shadows.
queen's
Damn you,
eyelash.
shadows! Why did it have to be Lieutenant Eyebrows? Take me instead!
That lines up. Yeah, the tanned eyebrows gets killed by the spiky eyebrows. Yeah, it's the battle of the eyebrows, and he lost.
He lost, unfortunately.
Don't worry, they're going to make a comeback in the 2010s, though, so history will redeem you. All right. Babylon 5 toes this nice line sometimes between campy and good, and
Sure.
there are certain characters that get away with it and certain ones that don't. And Jakar is this weird one that always does because it's so hilarious. Everybody's meeting in this big atrium to hear Sheridan's speech.
Yeah.
And Jakar is hiding, this giant lizard guy is hiding behind a bush.
Oh, yeah, he's like,
The plants.
And
It's like you
Ivaonava's
can hear
like-
the bassoon music in the background.
And I was like, Jakar, you shouldn't be here. And he's like, maybe if I say so, because you got to go. It's like,
I have camouflage skin. I can hide in these plants.
hey, man, get out of here.
it's a giant lizard hiding behind a plant.
Oh
and someone
my
being
gosh.
like, I'm hiding.
It's like weirdly cute.
It somehow works. It shouldn't, though. Sheridan is in the transport shuttle waiting. We've giant spinning station. We've got, a monorail that goes around it. He's on it to go to give his apology speech.
I thought it was neat. I like the monorail. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the monorail, and like the two Centauri, who are the race that he just blew up their thing, follow him in ominously. Sheridan's in the monorail. They get off. He looks, oh no, there's a bomb, and he jumps out. Now we get to go. I'll be pedantic in this. It's a fun way, and I think JMS does actually even explain it in the commentary, right, Mike? Which is, in a normal movie or show, if someone jumps out of anything,
Yeah.
they're dead. They're going to fall through.
Yeah.
This is a spinning station, so the gravity doesn't quite work. So he's basically kind of he's going to be hovering for a bit. It's going to take him longer to fall because it's artificial gravity, and he's basically going to be in space for a little bit. But what's going to happen is he's going to be floating for a little bit, and then when he gets close enough to the ground, the gravity is going to pick him up, and then he's going to go splat. So essentially, we can justify it being like, yes, this is a case where Superman has to come save the day. But a normal movie where Superman has to come save the day, Superman looks over, and by the time he's got time to fly, splat. This case is forgivable because it is an artificial gravity in space, and he is essentially going to be floating for a little bit.
Well, I was going to say, he opened the thing. I was like, wait, where's he going to go? And then it cut to the next thing of him just floating there. I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I say. Like, they did a pretty good job about not just hand waving that, because not only did they have him floating, they immediately cut to Ivaonava trying to get the jetpack saviors to come out to get him. And they talk about, he's floating now, but when he gets close to the ground, he's going to speed up to 60 miles per hour, which will kill him. So they fit that exposition pretty good.
And then what we get Delenn talking to Kosh, and these two have been like, doing everything behind the scenes the last 4 or 5 episodes. And she's just like, if you're going to do it, you do it now. What I do appreciate is there's no hesitation. Kosh's like, yep, and just opens his encounter suit, our big mech-looking thing. We've been told no one gets to see what a Vorlon look like, opens up and goes up. And then we get a fun scene where everybody sees a different representation, essentially, of an angel.
Yeah.
And they all kind of say a name. And I think, we don't bother having the Earth say one. We just make it an angel, right?
Yeah, we know that. We don't need them to say it.
Yeah, but all the other ones say that, and we see it. And we do, of course, see Londo, our villain, look up and doesn't see anything. And then Kosh just brings Sheridan down. And I love Mike's note where he's, I've really come to appreciate the audacity of this ending after 4 viewings. I do like it, right? He paints himself into a corner and is like, what can we do? And he's, I don't know, an angel saves him.
Yeah, and that's his Deus Ex Angel, this thing out.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, what is the context here? Have we ever seen this character outside of their mech suit before?
No.
Or is this the first time that we've seen them?
Well, what we have had, which is good, like I mentioned the Lita, the explosion, we've had multiple times saying no one knows what a Vorlon looks like. We've had him saying, I can't come out. And he says, why? He says, who will recognize you? He says, everyone. We have had Lita being like, I have to see one more time. It's glorious. So
we've kept some buildup.
We have had some buildup to be like, the Vorlons are super powerful. We do know this. Funny to ship design, Mike. I could be right or wrong on this. They look like flowers, but they look like, flowers that trap plants. So I actually I don't know if that's intentional.
Yeah, no, they look a lot like Venus flytrap with the outstretched tendrils out in front of them, almost like a mouth shape. So I can see that.
Yeah, so their plants look very calm and planty, but also if you're not watching, they'll eat you. So I like that. And so, we have had a lot of buildup to what are the Vorlons hiding in the encounter suit? No one's seen it. He doesn't want to come out. And then we actually get a reasonable explanation. And it is not really out of line in the universe for what we've seen to
Mm-hmm.
believe there is a creature that, like a psychic creature that could fly. Because we have telepaths.
Yeah.
One of our telepaths got turned into a telekinetic. We have prophets. So the idea is saying,
Right.
hey, yeah, there's an alien race that could essentially like float in space if they needed to.
Yeah, I think that's not beyond the realms of like belief, right? I think I don't like it when people are like, "Oh, well, they can't be this thing," but it's like they're literally in spaceships. So I think anything is possible at this point.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
you've suspended your disbelief enough at that point to say it's not
Yeah.
much further to go.
Exactly, exactly. So it was such a, like when the angel came out, I literally physically was like, "What?"
Yep.
Because I had no context for who the heck this was before this, right? Because I'm coming in fresh, so
Yeah.
I
Oh,
haven't
how's
had any of
Sheridan
the
going to get
build-up.
out of this one?
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Literally, I was like, "Huh?" An angel. So yeah, it is audacious for sure.
But to your point, so the defense we can give, right, like
Hmm.
in back stuff that we have seen.
Hmm.
But for the first time viewer, how did it play? I guess would be my question.
It was utterly ridiculous.
Okay.
You know, because like even the aesthetics of it, you know, it's just like bright, flowy, like white, glowing, and like against this like really industrial looking ship, you know, like it's just so it's so out there. Like it's really out there. And you know, we haven't really had any so far. This episode has been like political intrigue. Okay, yeah, there's like a ghost, there, which is like a weird like space creature that's killed our lieutenant. But there hasn't really been any element of talk of like religious or like higher beings or anything
Well,
like that.
there's been a lot of religious talk, just not in this episode, too. The other thing is, this is what really tied in the whole Christmas thing to me at like third or fourth watching. It's, oh, miracles. We're sort of setting up a little backstory about a time of
Right.
miracles.
I think they needed the pen kissing scene. I think that would have been where to do it because you're right, Mike. We get the second, the Star Killer one, we get this one. If we'd had one, like the rule of threes, right? Another miracle kind of tied in early. What
Yeah.
I'll say is, if you're watching the show episode by episode, this works.
Right.
It's interesting to see on the you got to check this out meter. If this is your first time, is there a way to escape? And I do agree, but
Yeah.
I like the point where it's like, this is a season finale. F it, Angel.
Yeah.
Angel's in the show. It's like you thought you knew what was going on. You thought you knew where stuff was going. You thought you knew about the shadows. Angel, what are you doing
Yeah.
now? Like mic drop. Like
All of that.
see you next season.
Just what you were talking about now is the visual juxtaposition of all like the dingy
Yeah.
stuff and the political stuff, and then just this jarring bright image comes out.
Yeah.
It wanted to show at the end, like there was that scene we're talking about where every different alien race saw their version of an alien in what
Yeah.
Kosh was, what the Vorlons are.
Yeah.
And that really just kind of tied it together. Like they were also surprised at having lived in this dingy underworld for a while with all this crazy down things.
Yeah.
The one thing that they needed was to lift up the spirits into the next season. And
Interesting.
the more I thought of, like every time I saw it, it's like that was audacious in the best way possible.
We inexplicably end the season with a bunch of aliens, including ones that should be upset, a bunch that said, hey, we're getting invaded, being happy, and Londo being upset. And even with that battle happening, that would have been hard to do because, yeah, Sheridan's got to, he didn't issue the apology this episode, but something's happening. Earth's going to announce the non-aligned treaty.
It's the Grinch. He had a Grinch moment where it's like he's looking, why aren't they singing? Why are they singing? Why are they still? I've taken away all of their presents and done war with all of these races. I can't see what they're seeing. Why are they
Yeah.
singing? It's so many things that like build on the Christmas.
Mike, in all the years of watching it, I knew the holiday thing just because of the year. I didn't put together all the other stuff. So yeah, an angel appears. Londo is basically the Grinch. I'll give
Yeah.
it to you. That is awesome.
I think it's interesting. It's so hollow what Londo is feeling in that moment. Oh my God, everyone else saw a miracle, but not me. I wasn't worthy. Like, I'm isolated. I'm alone in this, It's really interesting. I don't know if you guys have watched Foundation. It's on Apple TV.
Oh my God, every single guest
Third or
has
fourth
recommended.
person has recommended this, yeah.
We have to watch it.
Yeah, there's something very similar about, these characters going on a pilgrimage, and the idea is that at the end you go to this spring and you see something like incredible and it's kind of like life-changing. And one of the characters doesn't see anything but lies about having seen it. So it feels so lonely and hollow that everyone else has had this incredible life-changing experience except you because you're somehow not worthy or incomplete in some way. I think if only in an alternate universe where we didn't have the weird subplot with Lieutenant Eyebrows, I feel like there could have been more love put into the cohesive telling of this, like, this sense of like charity, because we also have, these people on the run, right? They're refugees,
Mm-hmm.
taking them in, showing them like charity and love and hope in this time, and other people are like choosing to kind of oust them, right? So they leave them out in the cold, as it were. So it's really interesting to think, just as an exercise of, okay, what could this episode have been without that other subplot? I think there could have been much more time dedicated.
Hey, Dre, what would JMS say?
If JMS ever listens to that, I know he'll appreciate that, because that's the thing, is like Kefir was fed to him. And what I appreciate about JMS, unlike sometimes other authors, we can lob stuff at Star Wars, right? So with the recent Star Wars with J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson, where it's just, basically Rian Johnson was given something, like, what am I going to do with this? And he did something with it. And he's like, okay, here you go. And J.J. Abrams, I don't like that, and undoes it. And you're like, you wasted like half of your next movie undoing the last, what you're wasting time. And so in this case, it's just, we have a case where the studios, you have to have this hotshot pilot. It's like, we are not that type of show, but you gave this to me, and I'm going to give that character an arc, a very Icarus arc, which is very human. We have multiple storylines about humans flying too close to the sun and getting burned. So we have another Icarus one. We had a literal ship called the Icarus this season. So it's JMS is like, I am given this. I don't want to use it. I am going to get rid of it, but I'm not going to get rid of it. Like both Talia and Eyebrows, I can't stop calling him that, are written off this season, and they are characters he did not want.
Yeah.
But he gave them arcs, and he gave their character, you can argue on if it's good or bad closure, but he gave them closure.
Yeah, he gave them characters. They moved the story forward, served a purpose.
And then the last kind of part, I really actually love this end, because Sheridan's talking to Delenn, who, is, hey, you got to save him, Kosh. And I love that from jump, Sheridan is, this is amazing. I understand what he's saying now. Everybody's going to recognize him. Also, it wasn't quite a time traveler, but they basically were visiting Earth as early as the 1800s at least. And they saw Jack the Ripper, and they kidnapped him and have basically been keeping him in stasis. So he's like in cryogenic sleep, and they release him as needed to like suss out humans, basically. So that's what that's what the Vorlons have been doing. That's what we found out last episode. And this episode, they look like angels. They look like angels to everyone. That's sketch. He says manipulating us. And Glenn's from a certain point of view, but I actually love that Sheridan from jump is just like, this is awkward. I appreciate it. He helped me. He saved me. I like that.
Yeah.
This feels weird. And I do that our character is not just like everybody else, oh, what a miracle. And he's, what's going on? And that is like on the Shatner Picard scale. Maybe it tips the scale, Mike, if you didn't count that scene that way, that he is thinking ahead. He is always the plotter, right?
He got 5 full points on the Picard side for this episode. So, couldn't do more than that.
6. I don't know why I'd want to give him 6. Again, check out MikeSlater.com to see why Dre might be trying to get Mike to give 1 extra point.
Yeah.
But and then this has been a running theme now 2 seasons in a row, where a main character basically does a monologue over the end. It was the end of the Earth year 2259. Here's what happened. And he's basically, a bunch of messed up. It's Ivaonava saying it this time. So I was like, it's the end of the Earth year. They signed the non-aggression treaty. Centauri starts just attacking everybody. And then we get a stinger, which I love, which is Kefir's death. He actually recorded a shadow vessel, and they released it. And this is right after Sheridan. That's a good thing. The Vorlons coming out probably makes the Shadows think we're strong. And as long as they don't know that Earth knows about them, they'll probably keep on the down low, right? And then we get a footage where Earth, and now, of course, the universe now all knows the Shadows are back.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's really great. I love, that really surprised me, the idea that Sheridan was just like, that's really sketchy, because it's a bias, right? It's called the halo effect. Just because someone is attractive looking, we tend to associate positive traits with them, like they're kind or they're like intelligent or all of that stuff. And I think there's certainly something manipulative about appearing a certain way, so people are immediately going to associate all these positive traits with you and your race, and be more like complacent in that way.
The only other thing I had from this episode that was really neat that we didn't talk about was a little more on Londo at the end with not seeing the angel.
Yeah.
That really set off his character in an indirect way over season 3, because I just got through season 3, and a lot of him is he's trying to back away from that point even more. And I think that moment,
Interesting.
seeing him contemplating, why didn't I see the angel, even if he doesn't directly talk about it anymore, it really signifies his character is going to change and start. No, he's not going to do good things. He's going to try and back off and convince the Centauri government to let's not get so aggressive all over the place.
Overall, I feel like there was so much covered in this episode. Yeah, so many like exposition scenes which were obviously like weak or awkward at some points, but some really great stuff here where I was like, oh, that's really setting up something really cool, actually.
Yeah, well, I've almost felt bad throwing a huge episode like this at somebody, but
And that
our
was awesome.
3 previous guests that we've talked to have all said, oh, Naj, we know Naj because it's all been email geeks people. She'll be good with whatever you have. She'll go with that too. She's a sci-fi person, so.
Yeah, 100%. No, I loved it. And, I couldn't help but think of like other sci-fi tropes, right? And other things that we recognize from other shows and other media as well, And honestly, it really feels like Babylon 5 walked so Battlestar Galactica could run.
Yeah. That's good. Well, yeah, it's been great having your opinion on all this. And I hope to hear from you that you're going to continue and watch the rest of Babylon 5 and become another fan forever.
I totally could.
We usually end this with, you got to check this out from the guest. What is it? The YouTube channel of yours with ukulele.
Najmah Tender.
Najmah Tender, and you can also search for Naj Plays Ukulele. Okay, that's already a stellar thing, but if you want to add anything else to it, we gave you a giant size episode, so you are entitled to more plugs if you want.
Yeah, well, I want to plug like cool stuff I want other people to watch, basically, which is Battlestar Galactica. Can I put a request for the future that you guys cover all of Battlestar Galactica? I would happily join you guys for that. And I think just as a general thing, I would really love for people to check out more Asian horror, just because I think it is, for horror fans, I think if they haven't really watched a lot of Asian horror, there's so much to delve into there. So, obviously there's famous ones like The Eye, Shutter.
Train to Busan's huge.
Yeah, exactly. Ring. So those are like great ones to start off with, but there's like a whole world of Asian horror that I would love people to check out. So those are like my things that I want to plug.
Absolutely love it. Again, one more time, if there are any other socials to plug, najmahsalam.com. Hopefully I didn't butcher putting those two together as one.com is the place to find you. If there's any other direct socials you want.
I'm sadly, as a very cool hip person, I'm on LinkedIn a lot, and I am on Blue Sky as well. But yeah, please feel free to reach out. I am very happy to talk about all things geeky, nerdy, and whatnot.
Awesome. And you do
Awesome.
it nice where it is just your name. I'm following you on Blue Sky now, so that's the cool thing. Yeah, just look for the website's the good start. Look everywhere else. We've got our things. And then Mike, where can we find you?
You can find me at SoundCloud these days. Slatron over there. I've been putting all the stuff from the new Rock Lab project I've been involved with. You can also go to Rock Lab under Facebook. We got a whole bunch of videos. I'm just ecstatic that I got to play fretless bass for an entire show with a band, and we're going to try and keep going. As some of the 2 singers I'm with are just amazing, and it's good to finally sing like some 3-part harmonies again on stage.
And yep, of course, Slatron is your handle most places, including Blue Sky. You are Slatron11 on a few, I think maybe Instagram.
That's the one I've been up using mostly lately, because I'm putting up so many like band videos and music stuff.
So yeah, look for Slatron or Slatron11 most places. Of course, MikeSlater.com is also a good spot. And then you can find me most places on the internet as Nerd Numbers. And I have a basketball podcast, but we're doing some rebranding, and that might be moving to an at Nerd Numbers thing. So just Nerd Numbers for the foreseeable future is good for me. Dre Alvarez, Mike Slater, Najmah Salam. I hope I'm not butchering the last name pronunciation. I know the first we asked. Okay.
It was perfect.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. We will be back next season with Babylon 5 Season 3. And we apparently already have homework. Apparently, we might have our next 2 seasons on tap already, Mike. Although we may take a break before Battlestar Galactica.
Which episode are we doing next then?
And we will be doing Babylon 5 Season 3 next season. And if you want to get ahead of us, you want to do your homework, Dust to Dust will be the first episode we are watching. And we might have a cool guest. I don't know. It depends on if Mike can track down cool guests.
We're still doing Email Geeks, so I'll leave it at that for right now. But if you're listening from the Email Geeks crowd, you're going to be very happy again with the next guest.
Listen, I'd be happy to come back again. This was a delight.
Oh, this
Putting
is
that out there.
I am trying to convince Dre that we need to have a wrap up at the end and have all the previous guests on for just 10 minutes. Have you watched more Babylon 5 at the end for a special episode? So we
I'm
might
down.
be calling you.
I'm down.
All right, well, we'll be in touch. We'll let you know how things go as we get closer to release. But thank you so much for spending time with us, Naj.
Oh my
This was a
gosh,
pleasure.
thank you so much. This was so fun. Please keep in touch.
Thanks. Cheers, all.